Hey, this is me on my actual account this time. Shoot me dead. I don't know what I'm recording this time. There you go. Consumable, or equipment. Equipment video, that's what this is. For a carrier, your best options are drop tank, which gives you 20% more cruising range, so you can fly around for longer. This is a hot swappable, meaning, meaning you could put it on the ship, click it off, safe disassembly, and toss it on another one, or when you're done with that ship, take it off and toss it back on. Yada yada yada. Rangefinder is a free one. That's a fine choice for basically any ship, because again, that's also hot swappable, as I call it. You can change it for free, move it from ship to ship to ship, and it makes it so you can see people sooner. On destroyers, it makes you a lot better. It's almost borderline required, you could say. For Japan, at higher tiers, anti-aircraft director is a fine choice I would recommend. It's also hot swappable, but because at higher tier, I think it's tier 5 to tier 5 to tier 7, and then tier 9. Yeah, tier 5 through 7, and then 9, you have no manual AAs. It's purely automated. So you rely either on your planes to kill things, or need to get those, or your machine guns, which are typically not that great, but with 5% more better chance to hit, that would make that almost 70%, which is a decent enough chance to hit. I mean, there's nothing else you can do for it. To look at Hermes has its manual AAs. US does too, so you don't need them. But for carriers, on a budget version, if you want to call it that, rangefinder, anti-aircraft director, and drop tank. On certain ones, heavy armor or torpedo bulge is not a bad idea. It reduces your ship speed, but provides you with torpedo bulge. In this case, 10%. And that's also hot swappable. On, say, a cruiser, which I just bought this thing and haven't really done anything with, you would, if you're willing to spend the money for it, mind you, pressure cycle driver on basically anything that's a gunship. That's a great option. This equipment will bind after installation. If you wish to recycle it after installation, you will need to spend gold or it will be destroyed. Sold for half price. Do you wish to buy and install? Yes. Another thing you might consider using is 10% faster reload time for 120,000 silver. Again, when you're just starting, you don't really need these, and I wouldn't get these. I'd go for the cheap stuff like rangefinder, composite gyroscope, which is basically the hot swappable stuff. Gyroscope, rangefinder, and heavy armor / torpedo bulge. Probably heavy armor, not torpedo bulge. But again, I'm buying this for now. And then rangefinder is a good option. On every ship. On every ship, I recommend using just full smokes, repair kits, extinguishers, in whatever order you decide. F1 would be this, F2, F3. You can, of course, change controls. That guy's a moron. Anyways, submarines. On a budget, you'd want rangefinder, which I have on other ships. Rangefinder. High sensitivity sonar, which is again another hot swappable only between, I think, destroyers and subs, possibly light Okay, light cruisers as well. But, rangefinder, high sensitivity amplifier, and when you're willing to spend the money on it, this is, I don't know. I don't think I have a sub that doesn't have it. I think it's like 120,000 or something like that, but it decreases a torpedo reload time by 10%. Another option would be hyper pulse, not that, but like in the case of, say, the high sensitivity amplifier, you might instead get the hyper pulse generator, reducing the time it takes to tick per sonar pulse by 1 second. And this is getting 6.3 per minute, so basically a pulse every 9 seconds or so. So then it would make it 8. And there are commanders that do as well. I don't think I have any of them though. Ah, there's one, but 0.3. So yeah, I don't really have any. For battleships, depends on the battleship. I'm testing out the big fire control radar, but for the most part, you use custom hoists, and this is not on a budget. Again, I do Overlord matches Monday and Friday? Or is it Monday and Saturday? For 2 hours, and you make like 2 million, 1 to 2 million silver per night. If you're doing well, and you're in the Repulse, which is tier 5 and free, and in another video that you can check out yourself. On a budget, I'd say rangefinder, heavy armor, and torpedo compartment. Because you really shouldn't be swinging left and right as a battleship, so the steering artillery effect isn't that great. Definitely recommend getting a pressure cycle driver though once you're able to afford it. At tier 4, you know, you start making a lot more silver than tier 1, obviously. Otherwise, you can do events. Like there's a daily, do an elite, where'd it go? Elite attack. Win 2 battles in a tier 3 or higher elite ship, which means basically either premium or this ship is elited right now because it has everything researched, including the next ship. Okay, just a moment. I got a text from my work, so I kind of need to answer that. So, I need to end this quickly because I can't focus and talk at the same time. When you do have an elite ship, this one doesn't have any commanders. There, an elite ship with commanders. I would recommend turning on quick training so that you're not just gathering up a ridiculous amount of experience that you then would have to spend real money on to convert to free experience. Quick training levels your commanders at 100 normally, like if you did a match and got 1,000 experience. 200 of that, 20%, that is, goes to all of your commanders, not like subdivided 200, but 200 for him, 200, 200, 200, 200 for all of them. And then your ship would gain the, 1,000 experience to use on parts and stuff. With quick training, which is only available once you're elited, so you can't buy any new other parts, it takes that full 1,000 and adds it to the 200. So you, instead of being 20%, it ends up being 120%. I've mentioned it in another video, but I'm mentioning it now because I mentioned elite ships. I'll probably mention it again in the future. Did I miss any ship types? Okay. Light cruisers, you can consider using the gyroscope because you end up turning a lot more. And reduce the steering on artillery accuracy. So when you hit Q and E, your bloom effect or worse aim is 25% lessened. So you can shoot more accurately while spinning around and doing stuff. Also, pretty good on a destroyer. Basically, anything that uses guns, reduce artillery reload time, and pressure cycle driver. Otherwise, again, rangefinder, composite, and guess that, but eh. And then destroyers. Since I didn't do those yet, I think. Rangefinder, broken record, I know. Rangefinder, and I'm trying out this stuff. But rangefinder, gyroscope's a great option because as a destroyer, you should be firing, then turning, then firing, turning. Straight lines equal death in most cases, in most ships. And as a destroyer, you're typically on the front lines, hopefully not being seen if you run decent commanders and are lucky. But if you are seen, you need to evade. But again, on a budget, rangefinder, high sensitivity amplifier, and composite gyroscope. I'm trying out the hyper pulse generator because I wanted to. I don't know. Simple as that. And again, on every ship, I run smokes, parakeets, and extinguishers. The exception being submarine. Where's the submarine? Submarine. You usually don't catch on fire in a submarine, so I run smoke bombs, repair kits, and modded ventilators. 100% increased oxygen recovery rate for 30 seconds. Meaning, no, you have three. You have three smokes. You surface, and there are some commanders that give a reduced version. So if you had that commander, would want to surface, have that proc, keep diving and surfacing till it procs. And when it did pop the modded ventilator to make it even better, and pop a smoke bomb on yourself so that you can then just kind of camp out in the smoke. If, you know, you're being in close range. If you're far enough that you wouldn't be seen, you don't need to use a smoke bomb, still would use that, because that makes it faster. If this did pop for 50% and this was used for 100, I think it's of course longer than a minute to recharge, but say it was a minute because that's a nice round number. 50% would take it to 30 seconds, and then it would take it down to, I think, 15 seconds on a minute. I could be slightly off. I'm not sure how the math works for that exactly. Anyways, I believe that's it. In the case of like the Japanese line battleships, you might I would still be using custom hoist, 10% faster artillery reload, pressure cycle, because that makes it so when you're moving your mouse, your aim isn't as thrown off. If you're used to, you know, already in World of Tanks, when you move your mouse, it's bad. It takes longer to aim. And then this reduces that bloom effect, and then big fire control radar, which is exclusive to battleships. I think it might be for cruisers too, I don't know, I'll check in a moment. Gives 5% faster aiming speed. I've been testing this out, it seems decent for Japan. The others could be using it, otherwise I would recommend heavy armor. You lose some ship speed, but you gain 10% more armor. And battleships have the most armor, so there's a lot to go around. Do these guys get it? No, they do not get it. Anyways, that's that. That's the end of this video, I think. Thanks for tuning in.